Again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK and EU podcast and YouTube channel. And yes, we are back with Al, and we are talking Warriors of Light. Warrior and Astrology. Woo! Al, tell us about astrology and how it intertwines with, or how it works with, this warrior spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is actually one of my favorite things to talk about because, in astrology, we work a lot with archetypal magic, right? And so when you look at your chart, each of the planets represents a different part or a different archetype of the self. So, for example, Mercury is our intellectual archetype. Venus is our lover archetype. And so, of course, Mars is our warrior archetype. And so every one of us has a warrior inside. And so for all those people who like to say, I'm a lover, not a fighter, that is absolutely not true, because we all have a warrior inside of us. It's just what kind of warrior, right? And so this is where in astrology, you actually go and you look at Mars in the chart and see how he's functioning, because that can give you a lot of information about your warrior energy. For some people, they're really competitive with themselves, and they like to set goals, and so they like to use that warrior energy in the attainment of things, right? Whereas other people are more protectors. And so that warrior energy comes out when they are defending or caring for, the things that are important to them, right?
Yeah, I love that. Especially, that reminded me instantly of like mothers, when they, somebody goes near their babies or something. It's like, they, don't go near them because they would be able to take, 10 men down, kind of thing.
It's true, right? As a mother, you still need to have warrior energy. It's just you're not going to beat up the kid. We call that abuse.
Yeah, it's the protector. It's that protection. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. And so it's really important to recognize that we all have that warrior energy in our charts. And we also need it and in everything that we do, right? Because warrior energy is also about creating that container and that discipline that are necessary to overcome the aspects of our nature that aren't working for us. Right. And so that's where we need Mars. And so sometimes, when you look at the chart, maybe Mars is not functioning in a place that he does very well in, or maybe there are a lot of bad angles. And so that warrior energy may not be as obvious, or if you're thought of yourself as having a pocket, it might be right at the very bottom of the pocket, hard to access, right? And so this is where when you go in and you look at the chart and you look at where Mars is by his sign and his house position, that can give a lot more information on how that warrior energy functions for you.
It's so amazing. So, I mean, just maybe I'm going on a sidetrack here, but what immediately come up to it, what happens, is there people that have low warrior spirit or maybe hardly any warrior spirit in certain areas? What can they do to overcome it? Is there something that they could do?
Absolutely. I mean, within our lineage, we have so many tools. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you, and this is a little secret, whenever you're born with something incredibly detrimented, that would be the astrological term, right? So you seemingly have low warrior energy. The secret is that somewhere within you, there is a mastery of it.
Oh, we've just lost Alex there. Are you there, Alex? Are you there? So we're just talking about the warrior spirit and how we can overcome and master. I'm just texting Alex now. Maybe she's going to join us. But what's interesting is that I was just about to tell us how you can actually overcome how you can actually overcome.
I'm back.
So yeah, that's great. I was just filling in and just saying this is going to be exciting, because it was almost like a cliffhanger there. We were like, okay, and then everything went black, but we had warrior spirit, and we fought through, and we were not going to let it go, because this is a big piece of information.
Okay, so we'll just claim that I embraced my ninja aspect, and I threw a little smoke bomb and disappeared for a few seconds.
Exactly. That's what we're going with. That's what we're going with.
So as I was saying, whenever we're born with that detriment, somewhere within us there is a mastery of that energy. And so if you're lacking in that warrior energy in the physical, what you actually need to do is you need to embrace that part of yourself. So that's where the life activation comes in to begin reawakening at. That is where Empower Thyself, Kabbalah really awakens all those archetypes so that you can begin to embrace that part of yourself. 5 minutes. So we all, have these different tools to embrace these different aspects of the self and to reawaken them again. Right?
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it? Because, we can, what I often hear is when somebody's had a birth chart or a chart done, not with yourself, Alex, because I know you always, are, advising people from a Hermetic perspective. But they often say, oh, well, this is in my chart, so this is the way I am.
Yeah. And that becomes an excuse. Right? So from the mystery school perspective, we have all of that available within us. But like I said, sometimes it is, in the deeper recesses of the pocket, right? And it's not readily available. And so this is why we have so many tools within our Hermetic lineage, because we are multidimensional beings. And so whatever we may not have, easy access to right now doesn't mean it's not meant to be, right? Or that it's not there. It's that maybe that connection is a smaller wire, but through ritual practice, through activations, through initiations, through working with Kabbalah and embracing those higher magical operations and archetypes, you can actually widen the channel, have a stronger bandwidth so that you can access that. And in the mystery school, we really do a beautiful job of balancing both the healer and the warrior archetypes. And so, of course, we work as guides and life activation practitioners, but we also have the Ritual Master program, right? And in particular, and I'll throw it in here, Warriors of Light, woot woot, where you get that chance to temper love and power. Because one without the other doesn't work. Power without love is dangerous, and love without power is ineffectual. And so we need that warrior archetype within us to hold boundaries with ourselves, to hold boundaries with others, so that when we create good, we have the ability to defend and to sustain it.
This is so key in our everyday life, just having that ability to withstand the tidal waves that can come in is so important. I think more now than ever. And I'm so grateful that I have, that I'm on this path of the Ritual Master, because okay, I might get knocked down by the biggest storm, but I know I can get back up again. I know I can get back up again. And it's that training that you cannot get anywhere else. It's like, okay, let's dust ourselves off and get back up again, so for me, that has been the key, one of the keys to success that I am so incredibly grateful for. And as you know, I love Warriors of Light.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so do I. And it's not just because I'm one of the instructors.
And I'm not saying it because Alex is one of the instructors. So she's still going to give me some push-ups if I need them.
Well, you know what? Everyone just follow my motto. It's okay. It's good for me.
It's true. It's true. I love it. I do genuinely love it, because it's all about overcoming. It's all about pushing yourself to do things that you might not normally have the opportunity to do so in your everyday life, with a whole group of people who have love in their hearts. I mean, I don't know if it can get any better. Martial arts, obviously, I love pretending to be a ninja and what have you. So I mean, it's like a dream come true. But on a serious note, it does. It helps us with that. Like you said, having that line to that warrior part of us, and it's like boom, when it comes up. I love it. Well, so coming back to the astrology aspect in it, are there things that we should look out for, or at certain times of the year can we utilize it a little bit more, or is there any top tips that we can share with people?
So on occasion, Mars goes retrograde. And whenever he goes retrograde, which is approximately once every 18 months. So when Mars goes retrograde, that's actually a really good time to go within and assess your relationship with that warrior energy. How are you at holding boundaries, with yourself and with others, right? I always recommend looking at how you hold boundaries with yourself first. Do you follow through on your word to yourself? Do you do the things that you say you're going to do? If you tell yourself that you're going to wake up at 7 and go exercise, are you doing it? Right? And so Mars retrograde is actually a really good chance that comes every once in a while to look at that. But even on a day-to-day basis, ask yourself, am I being accountable to myself? And then of course there's always going to be people who, we have the not as much, and then we have the too much. Right? And so of course, if we're going to ask ourselves, well, do you hold yourself accountable? But then you can also say, do you hold yourself overly accountable? And it's a fine line, of accepting responsibility and utilizing discipline that you can look at even in the everyday. Mars retrograde just helps really kind of uncover, the natural predispositions that you have. But this is something that you can work with all the time. And if you feel like you're lacking warrior energy, and for those of you who are initiates, I mean, even just utilizing your calling upon ritual and calling in that energy of Mars or Aries or Scorpio to assist you in building that warrior energy and that accountability and discipline and drive and motivation with yourself is really important.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. And we have whizzed through the time. I think we have to come back to this topic. I think we have to come back, because it's
maybe after Warriors of Light.
Shall we? That part 2. Let's do a part 2, because this is really good information for people right now. I just feel like, yes, we need to tap into more of that warrior spirit, and with love, So thank you so much for your time. And if you are interested in Ritual Master, then it's happening in September in 2024 in London, and then it will be happening in May in Toronto in 2025. I think normally around about then. And if you want to know where aspects of your warrior spirits in your chart, to get in touch with Alex. So she will assist you further. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was my absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to talking more about this.
I cannot wait. Part 2. We'll see you there.
10 push-ups, everyone.
Yes.